स्वस्ति श्री गणेशाय नमः। साईश्वराय विद्महि सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदा पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Om Shri Sai Ram. Good evening and welcome to day 24 of the Atma Chalisa Parayanam. So yesterday we celebrated the birthday of our Guru, our Guru Deva, both our outer Guru and the inner Guru, and we remembered his message, and that the ode to a Guru, the real tribute to a Guru, is not to fall at his feet, is not to run after him, is to follow the message of the Master and to become a living embodiment of the Master's message. So our life has to be the message of our Master, and that's the real tribute, that's the real way of celebrating and remembering our Guru. And we spoke about the form and the formless, and we were helped in this understanding also by the presence of Harbhajan amidst us. And what an incredible lesson he has taught all of us. And one of these days, I would definitely want to talk about that in detail with all of you. And the day before, we spoke about accepting and living in the present moment, because life is uncertain. Death can come any moment, unannounced. And knowing the certainty of death and knowing the certainty of the uncertainty, and knowing that we come empty-handed and go empty-handed, and knowing that no relationships of ours actually go with us, and all these relationships are left far behind, and knowing fully well the futility of where we are fully engrossed and our entire time goes in that, we must understand that the way to the goal of life is the path of detachment. So today we are going to be talking about what is this detachment. Just all of us have witnessed something very thought-provoking. In fact, I can even say it's a life-changing experience if we were to dwell upon it. That one night you go to sleep and you're sharing your bed with your husband, and in the morning you wake up with a corpse. That is the difference between a relationship with an attachment to the body of our loved one, when there is life, when there is consciousness there, And as soon as the consciousness leaves the body, the same body of our loved one becomes a stranger. And such a massive experience certainly makes us contemplate, reflect upon the impermanence of life, the fickleness of life, and how we are overly invested in our relationships, in our attachment to our relationships, and to all the other things that hold us and bind us down. It can be our home, it can be our properties, it can be anything which fixates us. And anything that fixates us, anything where we get attached, or any person where we get attached, is also the cause of great joy and sorrow at the same time. Because attachment brings pain, attachment creates expectations. And where there is an expectation, a disappointment is waiting round the corner to greet us. And who are these people to whom we are so attached? And why are we attached? Is it because they are our blood relatives? What does that mean, a blood relative? Is it that they have blood in them? But that everybody has. They have the same blood as we have, but that's not true. Our husband, our wives, they don't have the same blood as we have. So what is this that calls it that these people are our very own? In a conjugal relationship, in a marital relationship, till we meet the person, we didn't even know where the person was born and which family the person belongs to. And yet, because we stay together, because we start depending on each other, we start getting attached, knowing fully well that one day the Hamsa will fly alone. You know why that song that I've shared of Kabir is so popular, where it says, Ud jayega Hansa akela, Jag darshan ka mela. That of the pair of swan is always together. They always move together in unison as if they are inseparable. And that's what, when we see a perfect couple always together, doing things together, we say that they are like a pair of swans. And we just simply cannot think of being able to live without the other, knowing fully well that when the moment comes, one of them will have to fly alone. Knowing the finality of this, yet we do not use this to build attachment in us. Knowing fully well that all those loved ones who will remain, who will grieve at your loss, also know that you will go. And after some time, we don't even remember them. We will remember them, on their anniversaries and birthdays. And slowly they start to fade from our memories. And just imagine in how many lifetimes we've had these relationships with countless number of people. With some we worked, with some we played, with some we were friends, with some we were siblings, with some we were married, and so on. Where are those relationships now? We don't even know, and we do not have a memory of them. So we must understand that since in this world, in this jagat, this body is temporary, it is not permanent, and it is set to leave, and it is set to leave at an uncertain time. Why don't we prepare ourselves in such a way that we learn the art of detachment? So that when the time comes, and the time is going to come, don't know whether it's coming tomorrow or whether it is coming after 10 years or 50 years, but it is there, it is imminent. And yet it's like climate change. We know that we are not doing anything to arrest the climate change. We keep talking about it, we keep protesting about it, and then we keep lamenting when people die. It's the same with us. We perhaps just try to keep away these thoughts so that we don't have to accept it, we don't have to acknowledge it. But if we can, knowingly fully well that life is like this, get into our relationships and get into all the other objects of our attachment in a way where we can, without attachment, learn to enjoy them. Because everything created in this universe is for our enjoyment. Ishavasyam idam sarvam Yat kincham jagatyam jagat, tena taktena bhunjata. So what Isha Upanishad says that look, God is prevalent everywhere in everything. And in every atom of existence, there is that God consciousness that prevails. And all that is present, all that is available in nature is for man's enjoyment, but man has to understand how to enjoy it. And what is the technique given? It says, enjoy with a sense of self sacrifice. Enjoy it, enjoy everything, but with the outlook of sharing it with others, not trying to own it and hoard it and keep it for yourself. That, and not to have an eye on the wealth and property that belongs to others. So, which means that we hold on to only that which is essential for us, and everything else we share with the others. I remember some days back on the birthday and on the enlightenment day of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, we talked about this, one of his teachings, where he said that you should all work hard, kirat karo. And then he said, vand chakko, that eat after sharing with others. Wealth has been given to us, objects of comfort have been provided to us, and we should certainly enjoy and use them. And everything else should be for the sake of others, because the same self exists in them as well. And we can learn the beautiful art of enjoying everything without trying to cling on to it. We have hooks. When we like somebody, we start to put hooks on those people and we start to cling on them like the weed. When you go onto a mountain and you climb the mountain, there are these weeds which cling onto your clothes, and wherever you go, they pollinate. So we have this tendency of creating hooks to people and to the things that we have. I live in an ashram, and there are many devotees who have apartments here in the ashram, and so many of them I see will not allow their apartments to be used by anybody else, even when they are not staying here, right? They live in a different country. They come here seldom. They will still not allow anybody else to come and use it. That's the amount of possessiveness that we have to our things, right? And then we are on the path of love all and serve all. So the small little things, if we see how we are attached, these are nothing but examples of attachment, of how we are not able to let go of what we think is mine. And there is no room for anybody else because it does not suit me, or it comes in the way of my attachment to things. We want things our way. I live like this, it has to be done this way, right? That's also an attachment. I want to force my ideas on the people around me. That's also an attachment. I get attached to my fixed way of thinking and my own way and my own worldview that I have. And anything that comes in the way of that throws me out of balance. That also is an attachment. So attachment is just not only to people and to our properties and our things, but it is also to our ideas. It's also to our beliefs, because, on this path, I have seen a lot of people on the path of detachment. What they do is they give up their properties, or they will leave their loved ones. A lot of people leave their homes and walk into the forest, but that is called not leaving, that is called running away. But they are not able to leave their thoughts behind. And whether they are in a forest or whether they are in a mountain, those thoughts become nightmares for them, and they are not able to overcome it. So detachment means not running away, not giving up that you have, not running away from the people you love, not giving up the properties that you have, not having no opinions, no judgments, or no ideas. But detachment means that you are ready to give it up. You are ready to accommodate. You are ready to let go as and when the time demands. You are your happiness and your sorrow are not attached to either having some of these relationships or these objects or not having them. You should be neutral because you know the finality of it. A lot of people I know do not go on holidays, do not go anywhere because they say we cannot leave our home alone, right? That is an example of attachment. A lot of us have a problem in our ability to accept the views of others, and we end up criticizing and judging others. That also is a fixation to our own ideas and beliefs. I remember some days back from somebody, in our group had sent me a video of some celebrity, very famous person, a philanthropist in India, who said that in that person's opinion, nothing should be ever given free to anybody. That was the title of the video. And the person had strong reservation and objection to what was the content of the video. And the person wanted me to see the video and, give my opinion on it. I did not open the video. I simply wrote back to the person saying everybody has a right to their own viewpoint. Just because our guru has said that everything should be free does not mean that that is the only view and that is the only way to do things, right? We build this kind of an intolerance. We become cultish when we start to force our, thoughts, and we start to become inflexible and rigid in them. To me, that also is a case of attachment. When we are saying we are free consciousness, and when we are reading and enjoying the Atma Shatakam, and I promised you we will go into Atma Shatakam, and I hope that PDF that has been shared in the group, some of you have read it. The truth of who we are, the Atma that is inside of us, is beyond any kind of label that the world has given to either the body or the mind or to any sort of relationship. And it goes in and it says, I am not this, I am not this, and I am not this. So whatever is the viewpoint that you hold so strongly about, I would like you to tonight examine this and say, what are those strong thoughts and ideas and relationships and objects that I am attached to? And we know and we remind ourselves at that time that detachment means being flexible with our ideas, our thoughts, so that there is room for others to coexist with us, even however difficult and different it might be. Remember, we are living in the world of polarities. We are living in the world of contradiction, where there is duality all around us, where there is opposing forces always there. Our attachment causes our strong viewpoints, and our viewpoints, is where we start becoming unhappy. So once we become flexible, once we understand that this also is a form of attachment, we start to withdraw. And we learn the art of withdrawal. It's very interesting. I'll give you an example. I learned this long back from my uncle, my father's younger brother. He was in the army. And so one day he told me this. He said, in the army, they have these units in which all of them, as you join the army, you are allotted a regiment, and the regiment has a unit. And so that kind of sticks with you all through your tenure in the army. So he said, every time the unit has to move from one place to a new place, there is a forward party that goes in, identifies the place where you have to go. They set up a base, a small, forward camp, and they do a recce, and then they stay there for a while. Then they see how far the enemy is, and they start doing their engagement exercises. And he says, after the tenure is over, we are also taught to withdraw. So we are taught both to how to go and create a post in the frontier, in the border areas, and that is called the art of advancement. But when the time comes, when we no longer need to engage with the enemy, we're also told how to do a systematic withdrawal, right? And when he shared that with me, he says, this art of withdrawal is so important. How do you leave back and how do you go? He says, because, when you come, you are full of enthusiasm, you have certain checkpoints, you want to do certain things. But we become sometimes very careless or we become very hasty when we do a withdrawal. And that started me thinking. And I said, in life, ever since we were born, we've only learned how to engage and do a forward advancement, right? We've engaged all through with different relationships, whether it is friends, whether it is family, right? And the families keep growing in size, as we have children and grandchildren, right? And we are constantly engaging more and more with life and getting engrossed and attached to them, okay? And we do not know how to do a systematic withdrawal, because remember, we know fully well that one day we have to go back to the home from where we have come. Whether the place where we are living right now, from where you are attending this session today, is that home, or home is from where you come, right? The place from where we have come here, is that home, right? And if we know we have to go back from where we have come, we know fully that we have to go back. Shouldn't also we be taught how to withdraw, how to prepare for going back, right? All our life we have been like a bull, charging in forward. But nobody has told us, okay, time guys, let's start to withdraw, go back. Disengagement, detachment, systematic withdrawal. How do you start? All those five senses which have gone like tentacles in this world and have got hooked and attached to various things and objects and people. How do you start withdrawing them back? All those things that look so pretty and attractive, how do you pull them back? All those lovely foods that I could enjoy and now I can't digest, how do you pull them back? All those things that you would like to hear, that scandalous, gossip stories about what's happening in the neighborhood. How do you withdraw so that the only thing that you like is the sound of sacred music or the chanting on the name of God or satsanga? How do you withdraw? Sense of smell, the whiff of a flower, that fragrance that anybody puts as a perfume. And we have all advertisements on the television of boys running after girls, because of that, fragrance, right? All that we've been part of, right? That touch, we ran after things to hold them and be with them, right? There has to be an understanding that rather than it is forced on us, we must start withdrawing. I call it the art of systematic withdrawal. It's part of learning how to detach. Because unless we get detached, our mind will always overwhelm us, because mind works on attachment, right? That's the whole trick. So this detachment is important. Yesterday, somebody asked this question, that I am experiencing only some energy here on the head or on the back or, in my body, but I could not experience the presence of Baba, right? And I was expecting a lot of things in my mind. And therefore, first I told my mind, stop expecting, right? Now, what is that? That is the mind stepping in. And because our detachment is not fully complete, we are unable to hear the language of the energetic life force. It comes, but a necessary condition for that is our detachment from the world. That's why all of us have been saying that we like to be silent. We find sound to be a violence in the ears. We like to be by ourselves, right? This is a indication of detachment. And it happens when the consciousness within us starts awakening. All our Upanishads have spoken about it, that how that Vairagya starts coming in, and you lose interest in all these things after which we used to run. We ran after playthings when we were kids. We ran after, women when we were young. We ran after, all the material things of the world, be it a house or a car. Look at where all our life has gone, trying to acquire all these things and paying our mortgages and being trapped, in this cycle of consuming. And And then slowly we start to realize that all our life has gone outwards into acquiring something and then getting attached to it and then trying to, maintain it. That the real self, the real peace that we are looking for is not outside of us, it's inside of us. And we have to, knowing fully well that all these relationships are ephemeral, they are temporary, and that in an instant, in a moment, the relationship with that body changes, and we have experienced it ourselves. These are wake up calls. These are reminders, grim reminders of the truth, of the reality of life. If you take it beautifully, that it is not a disturbing fact, it disturbs us only because we attach too much importance to it. But if we know that this is how this life is, this is a rule and a law of life, and how beautifully Ramesh showed us yesterday of how much in acceptance she was of Harbhajan's body lying there next to her. Knowing fully well, she was celebrating. I had so much joy in my heart watching her. This is called total acceptance and understanding of the truth. What beautiful lessons, this couple has taught all of us of really how to live life and how to let go of life, how to withdraw from life. Harbhajan taught us how to go away, how to, when the time has come, how to go, how to withdraw. He went like a hero, right? And his wife has been no less, as she has allowed, despite social pressure to her from family and friends, of not doing what she should be doing, knowing fully well in the truth in her heart that nobody can go unless the allotted breaths have been taken. Can you imagine if it was just the body, if Harbhajan was just the body, would he have survived 12 to 15 days without taking a morsel of food or water? Our medical science does not agree with that. Yet, when the time was right, is when the soul will exit, because it is all perfectly ordained. None of us can die a second earlier or a second later than when is the allotted time. When the time is right, we shall all go. So, when the time is already set and when it is going to happen, why are we scared about this? Why are we attached to anything? This can be, in this instant, there can be a release for all of us to say, yay, it is inevitable. It's happening, right? It cannot, no matter what I do, it cannot get extended. My tenure here, no matter what I do, it cannot be, no matter how many blunders I make, it cannot get reduced. Okay? It's going to happen at that time only. So why not? And knowing fully well that it's going to happen, why not live like a king or a queen in this moment and to the fullest enjoy absolutely? Because when you don't have these things because these are unnecessary things in our mind that bind us down. I enjoy being a parent. I'm completely detached. I enjoy being a parent and having my relationship with my children, because I can't say I have zero expectations, but I have very little expectations. And yet, whatever needs to be done, I do. Detachment does not mean no attachment. Detachment does not mean running away from your responsibilities and duties. Detachment means no expectations, knowing fully well. Detachment allows you to enjoy everything much more than what attachment does to you. The emotion, the thought goes away. And what remains is only the natural state of who we are, which is Ananda. So attachment is let's call it a chain on our ankle, which is tying us down to a heavy stake. And it just doesn't let us move freely around. As consciousness is free, okay? So it's a mind which brings it, and the mind brings it because of our attachment. So we've been very lucky to have had actual demonstrations here on the group. And to the two great heroes in our group. I have to personally thank them for actually, playing it out in real life in front of us, as have so many other relations of ours that have, brought this reality to us. And that's the reason why, before this happened, the 2 sessions we did were to accept death and to start living in the moment. And today we have discussed that detachment is a key, and how detachment is a challenge for us. And detachment does not mean that we do not enjoy what God has provided to us, either in our family or with what we have. Creating that balance, moving away from those expectations, moving away from all that makes us fearful or brings hurt in our life, makes us freer to do what we need to do in life. The path becomes easier to traverse, and we start feeling instantly lighter, as if somebody has lifted a big load from us. And one of the techniques that I have shared with a group in the past, and there are some new members uh, for the Atma Chalisa Parayanam, and for those, their sake, I will give the technique again. There are many techniques for detachment that you can use. One of the most powerful ones that I learned is called the Trikuti. So just above our third eye, there is, if you draw a equilateral triangle on your forehead, okay, that is where lies the Guru Chakra or the Trikuti. Trikuti means it's a triangle with 3 sides equal, and in there, with the grace of the Guru, invoke the grace of your Guru and light the fire of knowledge. Okay, the fire of knowledge is the highest of all the fires, and it has the ability to cleanse all emotions, all attachments, all thoughts and ideas that bind us down. It is the only fire which does not burn, but it cleanses. So you can sit in silence in a meditative posture, focus on your third eye, ask your guru or ask your family deity to help you to ignite the Trikuti right above your third eye. And this once this light is lit, then whatever thoughts and whatever attachments, whatever relationships, whatever emotions you hold in those relationships that bother you, please bring that thought or that emotion and offer it into the Trikuti. And when you offer it, you can say your small prayer. Now you've handed it to the fire of knowledge, and this knowledge will cleanse the emotion away. It will remove these ties that are binding you. Okay, so it's a very powerful technique, yogic technique, and when you do it, and there may be many thoughts in your subconscious also which are deep seated and you don't remember them, which are troubling you. You can actually pray to your subconscious and you can pray to your guru to help you to access all those things that you do not even remember. And what it does is it brings out such incidents which perhaps happened, to you in your childhood, which you don't even remember. But the subconscious restores everything, and suddenly you will remember something, and you will say, "From where has this come?" But whatever thoughts keep coming to you, keep offering them to this fire, and it's a very strong exercise, because when you will do it, you will experience a lot of heat on your forehead, you will sweat also, and you will feel an energetic release happening from your body. Because remember, every thought has an energy, everything is energy. So and it may take you a couple of hours, it may take you a couple of days for you to sit, and it keeps coming, because we've been storing this for God knows how long inside of us. And these are all, as I said, every thought has a hook to it, and everything clings to us. Cling, 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 everything is clinging. So therefore, keep cleaning, keep cleaning, keep cleaning, right? And so try that. It should be able to help all of you. And as I said, practice is the key. You know, we've got to do something about this. So with that, I think I'm done for the day. It took a little longer than I expected.